Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Ejani Schultz from TechnicolorPriestess.com, and I am so excited because I just kicked off my Women Living in Neon series, interview series, where I'm interviewing women who are just doing it. They're living the neon dream. They're doing what they love. They're expressing their style, their uniqueness, and having fun. And a few weeks ago, actually, I came upon someone who I thought was pretty rockin'. She seems to be having fun, doing all these amazing things. Definitely has unique style, which you know I adore. And so I thought I'd have her on, and I'm so excited to introduce Jo Westwood, the social DJ, media DJ. Welcome, Jo.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for doing this. I'm so excited to have you on. I've been, virtually stalking you, as I mentioned, so I'm happy to meet you live. It's such a pleasure to watch someone just clearly having a good time and, working at the same time and just doing their thing. So it's very refreshing and yeah, just a pleasure to see. So I'm excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind. I'm glad it comes across that way. That's the aim of the game. So.
Yes, well, mission accomplished. I'll tell you, you're right on point with that. So I have a few questions for you. So if you want to dig right in, we can get cracking on those.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So the first one is you're clearly doing something that you love. I mean, it really just shows in your photos and in your posts on Facebook and on your website. It just really comes through. So can you tell us sort of a little bit about your journey, how you got to where you were before, and sort of how everything came to that sort of head to get you where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So before I was the social media DJ, I was actually a textile designer. So I trained in fashion and textile design all my life. I actually trained in fashion and textile design for 7 years. So I could have been a doctor or a vet, but I decided to be a textile designer. So that's what I did straight out of school, and so my first job out of university was as a textile designer, and then I started my business in textile design. But really, to kind of cut that part of the story short, it wasn't getting me to where I wanted to be. And so I kind of started a social media business on the side. I had lots of other friends who were in business, and I started to get people come to me asking me to do their social media. So I should explain really how I came to do social media, and it's because I woke up one day in what can only be described as an entrepreneurial seizure when I was like 23 years old, and just, I was a terrible employee, have always been a terrible employee. I think
Amen.
I think like most entrepreneurs, I was really born to be in business, and just you really do not want me to work for you. Just putting that out into the universe so I never get 9 to 5 ever again. And yeah, so I left my job, and although I knew a lot about the industry, and although I knew a lot about textile design, and I was a good designer, I actually didn't know anything about business. So I had to dive into business books, and also I had no budget to market myself or do anything really. So
yeah.
So I had to learn very quickly how to market myself and just make contacts and network, and I learned all that from books. And of course at the time, so this was like 3-4 years ago, social media was really starting to boom as a way to market your business. And so I learned how to make contacts on Twitter and really how to monetize social media. So I was getting very effective in my own business, and then clients. That's when you're an entrepreneur, when you refer to friends as clients. Oh God, Freudian slip.
It all sort of intermeshes eventually sometimes.
Yeah. So my friends started to ask me to do their social media, and then they did become clients. So yeah, I was kind of running these two businesses parallel to each other, and I was kind of having an identity crisis. I always say, if you if you want to give yourself an identity crisis, the fastest way is to run two completely different businesses, totally parallel, with no support.
Oh, yikes. Yes, that sounds overwhelming just hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'd go to a networking meeting and people would ask me what I do, and it really depended on the day. And I would just be frozen and not even know what to say.
Wow.
And so that's when I decided it was time to get some help, and I found my first coach and mentor, Christina Marassi, and she really helped me develop the business as it is today.
Wow. And you'd mentioned she was actually your first star client?
Yeah, so I did this virtual online program with her and had a coaching call with her as part of that. And she kind of said to me, look, I think you need to lead with social media, and we'll find a way to bring the creative pieces in. And I mean, it didn't feel like it at the time because I was so ready for a change. But that was a huge leap of faith, because I had literally come across this woman like 6 weeks earlier on a YouTube video.
Wow.
And now I'm on the phone with her. It's the first time we've ever spoken, and she's given me an idea for a direction of my business, and I'm just like, yeah, fine, why not? Let's go for it. I'll do that. You know, I'll give up my 7 years of training and 3 years of experience in business and work and just go with what you say, because it sounds like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, talk about a leap of faith, just a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it was super cool, because then Christina actually became my first social media client, and then I came up with this idea of a live reporting service. So when she did her first live event in June of 2012, and that's really weird because that's only just over a year ago. I can't believe
Yeah, that's crazy.
Such a short time ago. Again, another leap of faith. I booked a ticket to fly out to LA to go and work at her event. Didn't tell my family until I think 2 days before I left, because I know they'd be really freaked out. And I was like, well, if I leave it that late, then there's kind of nothing they can do about it. They can't ask me all the questions under the sun, and, you know, have you joined a cult and all this. So, yeah, again, another leap of faith. And I went to work with Christina and live reported her event, and it really was the best thing I've ever done. It's the thing that I'm most proud of. Well, certainly was at the time. You know, lots of super cool things have happened since then, but at the time I was more proud of the work that I'd done in those 3 days than when I got my degree or when I got my first job or anything else that I'd done in my life. And yeah.
that gives me goosebumps. And that's sort of like, what a delicious moment to sort of experience that. I imagine when you were there, just being showered with like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do. I can't even imagine how you felt at that moment.
Yeah, it was incredible. Well, I can give you an idea of how I felt, because I went into an extreme panic at the end of the event, because I was like, I'm going to have to split up with my boyfriend, and how am I going to get my dog over here, because I need to move to LA immediately.
Wow. Okay.
That was the feeling that I had. And I was like, you know, my boyfriend at the time, I'm like, I don't think he will come with me, and he has his existing business, and like, can I get my dog over here? Will he have to go into quarantine? Seriously, just went in immediately, like, thinking of all the details, because I loved it so much. I loved the people that I met. I loved being in that whole atmosphere. And I was like, I need to move to LA right now.
Yeah. And that's like a good, wonderful that you bring that up, because a lot of times when you are on that perfect path, it's like shit's gonna get like a little messy sometimes, and you have to really wade through all that and decide what weighs more heavily. And usually it's going after your passion and feeling that, knowing that you can feel that way and feel so satisfied and so happy and empowered with what you're doing. Usually it outweighs lots of stuff in your life. So,
yeah.
But you seem to have worked out the details, and you seem fine. So now you're living in LA?
No, well, sorry, the way I told that story, it makes it sound like I made another huge leap of faith and moved to LA. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to get into America.
It is not. Yes, that's true. I'm American, and my husband is French, so I can attest to that.
So, you know, I came home and took a few deep breaths and was like, okay, you don't have to move to LA immediately. You know, there are, you know, there's a flight every day from London. You can go there whenever.
Whenever your heart desires.
So you can just relax. But I did really, over the last kind of 5 weeks, I've really fulfilled a dream of having this kind of jet set lifestyle. So though I didn't kind of follow that immediate impulse and find a way to wangle myself into America under the radar, and you know, for the last, I've since then I've continually flown out to the US to work with clients. I've traveled all over the US and now all over the world. In the last 5 weeks, I've taken 15 flights. I've been to 3 continents. I think 3 or 4 states in the US. So yeah, I really am living the dream. You know, I always wanted to kind of have a jet set lifestyle and travel and be able to travel for work, and that's really what I've got now. So
yeah, how beautiful. And that's just like, so exciting.
Yeah.
And you're doing it for something that you love, because a lot of people, you know, they think, okay, I do want to have, you know, I want to travel a lot, so I guess I'll just take this job that I don't really like, and the benefits are that I get to travel a lot and see the world, so I guess I'll just suck it up. But you don't have to compromise, right?
No, I mean, I love the people that I work with as well. They're so inspirational, and I get to go to these awesome events, and the people that attend as well, not just my clients, but the people that attend these events. It's just so awesome to be paid not only to travel and see the world, but then to be surrounded by these high vibration people who are just on the same wavelength.
Exactly. It's like, and I was going to use that exact same word, it's like you're floating on the same vibration, and that just must be so delicious also. That just feels like, I don't know, it sounds incredible. So that's very exciting. And just to go back a minute, you had mentioned that you've taken a couple of leaps of faith. So you know, we all have the inner gremlin, or I like to call it the inner jerk face, who comes up and, you know, gives you the negative chatter and all the cons, and kind of like stirs up the fear, and, you know, kind of like the inner shit kicker in a way. So can you talk about sort of what came up for you? You did talk a little bit about like all the details about your dog and your former boyfriend. But what else was coming up for you, and what did you do to work past that? Because I think a lot of people, maybe it's sort of getting past that wall that can be kind of hard, you know. So to get to your life, your neon life. So can you just talk about that a little bit? What you did to get across that threshold?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest leaps of faith that I really had to take was kind of admitting, and even the fact that I use the word admit like it's some dirty little secret, that like God forbid at age 24, 25 I decided to change career. You know, I came from a family where, as I'm sure many people do, this is not uncommon, where you have one job, or, you know, one career, maybe 1 or 2 jobs your whole life. And here I am, you know, and I should mention as well that I feel like I'm kind of a black sheep in my family, because I have moved around a lot as well. I think I'm like 27, and I've lived in 5 different areas just of this country, which is quite because England is really small.
Yeah, that's a feat.
So I'm covering the bases. So yeah, I mean, not only was that a kind of unusual thing for my family to deal with, not only did I want to go traveling around Eastern Europe, which again was another really unusual thing for them to get their head around, but now after 7 years of training in this specific kind of trade, if you like, and 3-4 years of working in it as a job and in my own business, it was like, oh, by the way, folks, I'm just going to do something completely different now, because this woman that I spoke to on the phone from America that I've never met said that it would be a good idea.
It does kind of sound cray-cray when you say it like that, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and, you know, I can totally see it from their point of view, and yet I just could feel in my gut that it was the right thing. And particularly when I'd been to live report Christina Marassi's first event, there really was just no denying that feeling. It was so strong inside of me. But at that point, social media and live reporting was my main stream of income. I was still kind of running my textile design business alongside because it was so difficult for me to let go of that, and that was so much a part of my identity. And although social media was my main stream of income, and I felt like I was getting so much recognition in the kind of coaching world for that, I was still calling myself a textile designer.
Yeah, because in a way you almost feel like you're betraying somebody, like you're turning your back on the tribe, or you're breaking the ways of the clan or something. So it can feel like a betrayal in a way.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. You know, my parents had helped me financially through my education and all of that, and it was like shit, I know I'm just not going to do that anymore. I just can feel in my heart and in my gut that this is not what I'm going to do anymore. So I would say definitely if anybody else is going through that kind of leap of faith, that you know, when you kind of butt up against that roadblock in a way, you definitely need to get support. You need to read every book under the sun. You really need to kind of get that, like, the mantras in your head, whatever it takes to give you the strength, and also get the kind of back end support to clear all the old crap. You definitely need that.
Yeah.
But the other piece I feel like is more organic, certainly in my experience. When you're ready, when you're really ready, there literally will be no other option.
I love that. When you're ready, there will literally be no other option. That's big time tweetable. That's a good sound. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's true. It's like, and then you do everything in your power and more, you know, you sort of start stretching yourself to make it happen, because it's just like there's that fire in you.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, that's what happened for me. That's why it was so easy for me to be in trust with Christina. I mean, of course, she's a great mentor and a great coach, and she has a great reputation, and so that all helps.
Yeah.
But it was so easy for me at that point because I was so ready to make the leap. And we just kind of came together at the perfect time in my life for me to be able to say, yeah, okay, let's do this, because something has to change. And I think that as long as you're making the moves in your own life, you're getting the support you need, you're doing the work that you need to do, then you really can just hand over the rest to the universe. And trust me, when it's time, you will know. You will get smacked around the head with a baseball bat by the universe. You will not be able to ignore the signals. It literally will not let you. So
yeah, so you have to listen.
Yeah.
And listening to that is like where the mind-blowing, life-changing stuff comes in. So that's pretty yummy right there.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, that's amazing. You have an amazing story, and it floors me that you're only 27. That's so, yeah. You're just, like, seriously, I salute you, and yes, because you just got like such an early start, so you can continue growing and expanding. Imagine all the possibilities. That's just, oh, wonderful. I'm getting a little emotional, but that's so amazing.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Yeah, I definitely feel very lucky to have discovered this kind of world of self-development and had that moment of readiness so young, so that
taking action so young instead of just, you know, staying in the fear and denial for so long. You sort of just went for it. So, and like you said, getting support is important, and you went with Christina, so that probably helped a lot too. And just
and I mean, something that I always say is I actually have a very low threshold for emotional pain. I am not one of these people. I really just don't have any sticking power when it comes to something that I don't like. I'm not one of these people that could, you know, like stay in an unhappy or like average marriage for 25 years, or I talk about my entrepreneurial seizure that I had when I was working in my textile design job. It literally was like a moment of like waking up one day in a cold sweat and being like, shit, I can't do this anymore. And within a couple of weeks, I'd put my notice in with no idea of what I was going to do afterwards. But I do have a very low threshold for this kind of emotional pain, and I don't really know where it comes from, or how I seem to have the strength to take the risks, because again, that's not really something that's been put in me, been given to me by my family, because they're really not risk takers. They're like,
right,
they're like super steady people.
But how lucky. That seems like maybe it could have seemed like a negative point to be so emotionally set, like to not be able to have a low threshold, but then it's sort of what's propelled you to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's definitely what's contributed to me being, on this path at such a comparatively young age, because I knew that I needed to get help, and again, just felt like there really was no other option.
Yeah, amazing. All right, and just in seeing you, just visually, and your website and your, Facebook posts, there is such a visual, like, clear style. I call it soul style, when you're actually expressing who you are on the inside, on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looks like to me that you are very much doing that. So can you talk a little bit about your style and sort of how it's evolved and developed, and why it's important to you and your business and your life? Like, why does it matter?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely, I definitely think of it as a business asset. Every time I buy a new set of dresses, so I have like one specific designer that I go to who I just like fits me to a T, and I get all of my dresses from there, all of my live reporting dresses, all the famous dresses that everybody knows me as wearing, that I wear in all my branding. Whenever I get dresses, I always think it really is a business asset, because it actually, they do get me business. I'm standing at the back of the room, but my style is so eye-catching kind of naturally that I may as well be standing on the stage. So
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing, another like super valuable piece that I was taught by Christina as well, is like, and it's kind of obvious, but all the best coaching and all the best tips and all the best advice you will ever get is the simplest, most obvious stuff. But she kind of taught me that you need to stand out. It makes sense. Like, if you want to be noticed, then you need to stand out. And that can seem like a really scary thing, but there's this phrase, and I can't remember where it comes from, but I absolutely love it. And you have two options in life. You can either be ignored or judged.
I love that.
And that again is another leap of faith, is like really stepping into your true style. And for me, as I've got more comfortable with myself, and as I've really just become more me, I suppose. Yeah. I'm like, I really wish there was a more eloquent way to say that, but yeah, as I've just become more me, my style has just become kind of bigger and bolder and more true and felt more natural, and now it's effortless. Now I don't even really have to think about it. I just know what suits me. I know where to go. I know what my brand is, because it's really the truest reflection of me.
I love that, and it really has an impact on all areas of your life, don't you think? Even how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that that's a really scary thing for most people, and I suppose it kind of was for me as well, because I'd always had a sense of style, and as I said, I've trained in fashion, and I've always had these like funky haircuts, at least like for the last 10 years. So I was definitely expressing myself to an extent, but it didn't feel like I was fully expressed. But that was because I wasn't fully expressed on the inside.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's vulnerable, when you're really putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. When you start to express yourself on the inside so fully that it kind of exudes on the outside, you really are putting yourself out there into the world. So I was very grateful for the support that I had, from my mentors, in saying, yeah, like, basically just giving me the nod and saying, yeah, you're going in the right direction. This is what you should be doing. You look great. And it kind of like gave me that confidence to keep moving forward and keep being bigger and brighter and showier, which is what most people are taught not to be, especially.
Exactly. You're supposed to sort of hide out and give other people a chance, or at least that's what we perceive. So it's almost like you're stealing something from someone else if you're in the spotlight. But it's not true. There's enough room and light and excitement and razzle-dazzle for all of us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also everyone has their own flavor, you know. Not
exactly. I love that. Everyone does have their own flavor, and it's so important to express that, because even on a day-to-day basis, the way you feel, just your interactions with people are different. Maybe you have more moxie to do something because you feel like in your power, you know. Yeah, and you're just sort of more honest and transparent in all areas of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's version of being visible and being in the spotlight is different. So not everybody wants to get half their head shaved and wear a neon dress like me, and that's like totally cool. And yeah, so that's really what I mean by everyone has different flavors, and when you are fully expressed, you really can't help but be noticed, because your energy changes, your vibration changes, and people just want to be around you.
Exactly. You're just sort of, there's not that resistance that comes with all the muck around it. You're just sort of more open. So I love that. So so actually we're gonna wrap up soon. So I have one more question for you. So can you share with people what sort of one or two of the, just like the tools that you share with maybe your clients or other women who are on this path, who are sort of on the verge of embracing their neon life? What are some tips or some wisdom that you can offer up to women to just really get out there and just live, you know, excitedly in neon?
Oh, there's a big one to end on. Okay.
No pressure.
I'm like, oh, let me think. This better be good.
No, it could just be honest. It doesn't. No pressure, really.
Okay. Well, I would say, I mean, I'm going to repeat this again, but you need to really see your own value and know that you're worth investing in, because nobody that you see who is rocking their life and, you know, really making it big time made it on their own.
Exactly.
And I think we very easily get caught into the trap of looking at somebody who's very visible, who looks awesome, who's like branding and videos and all of that stuff is like super polished. Like Marie Forleo is a great example. You know, we look at her and we kind of compare and despair. And she actually has been very open about her journey. She wasn't always like that. Of course it wasn't. You know, she just did videos in her living room on her MacBook to start with, like we all do. Right. You know, she didn't have a stylist. She didn't have a freaking blowout every time she like did a video.
Exactly.
And she got the support along the way. She got coaches. She had mentors. She went through all the steps that that we're, you know, if you're already on this path that you're going through now, or that you'll need to take if you're kind of still maybe in a job and wanting to take the leap into entrepreneurship. And something else that I kind of want to add to that is I just recently read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay.
And that's where the concept of needing 10,000 hours of experience to be an expert in your field comes from. And so I just want to say that, you know, every time you shoot a video, every time you do a launch, even if it doesn't go great, every time you kind of change your style or work on your branding, all those minutes and hours add up to those 10,000 hours. And
that's true. Yes, well said.
You're on the path, and you just need to keep doing it, and know that you can't do it on your own. And to keep doing it like an athlete, you need a coach, you need support, you need those people in your life that are going to keep you buoyed up and give you the confidence and help you clear the crap when you have resistance and when it gets difficult.
Keep you inspired, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay. I love that. So Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just just to kind of sum up that, because I felt like that went on a bit of a ramble.
A
'Cause
good ramble.
I was just freestyling. Yeah, make sure that you get the support, take the leaps, and just trust that everything you do, even if it doesn't always go right, is exactly as it should be, and it's all giving you experience.
Oh, yes. I love that. That's a wonderful note to end on. And just before we go, can you just tell us where we can find out more about you, where your website, where we can connect to get your fabulous services?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at joewestwood.com. And of course, I'm always hanging out on Facebook. So that's one of the best places to contact me too. So that's facebook.com/Joe Westwood fan. That's my fan page. And you can find me and come and connect with me as a friend on my personal page as well.
Yay! And it is fun. Let me tell you, I get so inspired just watching all the amazingness go on your Facebook page. So thank you so much. This was our lovely interview with Joe Westwood, the social media DJ. I'm Eugenie Schultz from technicolorpriestess.com, and we are so happy that you checked out all these nuggets, these neon nuggets of wisdom from Joe and her fabulous life. Thank you so much, Joe. It was an honor, and you are so inspiring, seriously, and so kick-ass. So I salute thee.
Oh, thank you so much, Eugenie. I'm really excited to watch your business grow, and I love the name of your business and the name of this whole series. Neon is my favorite spectrum of colors, so I'm so glad to be a part of this. Thank you so much for inviting me along.
Thank you. Sending you glitter bombs of love.
Thank you so much, Eugenie.
Okay, bye.
Bye.